back and it's 2018. Welcome back to Crypto Simplified. Hope you guys had a fantastic festive period. Hope it was really restful, and I hope the gains were fantastic. To all the new subscribers, welcome to Crypto Simplified. I'm not an investment advisor. This is not investment advice. I just want to have a look at the market critically to see where the opportunities are, and I'm just sharing my working with you guys. If you agree with what I have to say, fantastic. Let me know. Drop a like. If you disagree, let me know as well. I would love to have a back and forth conversation so that we can actually understand where the other person's coming from. This is what cryptocurrency is all about. It's a space where everyone is learning. So if you have any doubts, any suggestions, I'm all ears. So please send them this way. I've been away for a while, and when I left you, there was a bit of a bear market happening. That totally changed in the preceding days, but a lot of the altcoins that were gaining are now pulling back a little bit. Will they completely plummet or will they consolidate? That's something that remains to be seen. I've sort of been keeping my money away from the market. I've been keeping it either in Bitcoin or Ethereum because I was a little nervous about this sort of flip that's happening right now. Bitcoin was suffering, and we know that Bitcoin is the proof of concept cryptocurrency. Old is gold, and people still trust the one thing that's been around for a long time and also been coming through every obstacle that's been thrown at it. So don't discount Bitcoin just yet. But maybe this could be signaling the end of this absolute dominance that Bitcoin was holding on the market. Over this Christmas period, I'm pretty sure lots of people in your family or your friend circle ask you, but hey, what is a Bitcoin? What exactly is it all about, and why is it so expensive? At some point in your explanation, you probably got to the point where you said, Bitcoin is great, but it has a lot of flaws. And that's the point of these altcoins, to address these flaws and to make a better system for a particular use case. Maybe that's already happening right now. Maybe it's totally possible that other cryptocurrencies are taking the mantle away from Bitcoin when it comes to being an anonymous peer-to-peer payment currency. This might not just be market exuberance. Maybe there really is something happening and people are looking at other cryptocurrencies as a preferred method of payment. We will have a much better understanding of this in a few weeks' time, but you cannot discount this possibility. In other thought-provoking news, this tweet, you got to think about it. It's very easy for us to just dismiss everything as, nah, stop being a naysayer. But you really have to have a look at this in a fairly objective way. Ripple, centralized and censorable. I'll get to that a little later. Cardano, barely launched. That's totally true. Qtum, no product yet. Verge, actual vaporware. That's a bit controversial. But we do know that the Wraith protocol didn't exactly go as expected. BitConnect, everyone's sort of unanimous on this. It is sort of a Ponzi scheme. And a trivial fork of Bitcoin in Bitcoin Gold is worth 4.5 billion. So we're seeing right now these market valuations are looking really, really high. Even for those who entered the market like 4 months ago, you've probably doubled or tripled your money. That is kind of crazy. If you really think about it, it shouldn't be happening like that, and the market's growing way, way, way too fast. These visible coins are huge. $100 billion company. Do you really think Ripple is a $100 billion company? Is it giving us that sort of value back? Remember, just a few years ago, people were giving Snapchat a ton of shade for rejecting an offer to be bought out by Facebook for $7 billion. Ripple sort of goes away from the philosophical idea of Bitcoin of moving power away from centralized forces and back to the people. So we are in a bit of a strange place right now. People always talk about unemotional investment, but I do think that now we finally can vote with our money. We can choose to put our financial backing behind projects that we believe in. And that's one thing I really want to tell all you guys. There is no right or wrong in this market just yet. all you can do is do your own research and compare and contrast opinions of people whose content you like viewing. That could be YouTubers, that could be people on Reddit, that could be people and writers on Steemit. Get as much information as possible about this market and make your own conclusions. My conclusion is, I'm a little scared that this market's growing out of hand. And that I'm just looking at the market leaders. I'm looking at the top 30, 50 projects. Very good projects in there. Cardano are doing a lot of work. Verge actually really wanted to do a privacy-centric protocol. But what we need to see is the actual execution. You can have a lot of promises. Crypto projects are really good at promising a ton of things. But it's up to you to actually do your due diligence to see if they can actually follow through on these projects. So this is a good time to disconnect and actually look at your opportunities, reevaluate your long-term positions. Do you really think that hodling X or Y coin will benefit you in the next 6 to 8 months? A bear market shakes out the weaker hands. And I'm not saying we're in a bear market right now, but this exuberance that we've experienced in the last 3 or 4 days is pulling back a little bit. It's all about the constant beta, the constant refinement, making sure that you are still sticking to your targets. Set your targets, move in when you got your buy opportunity, move out when you meet your targets. It's all about discipline. Don't get caught up in FOMO and greed. And a lot of that is happening right now. So all I can say is be a little bit careful, exercise some caution. So now that we are done with all these bleak warnings and dreary things, let's go to the good stuff. And by the good stuff, I mean $1,000 Ethereum units. Another psychological milestone. Let's go on to bigger and better things, people. Same thing with NEO. Currently it's at 97, but it did hit that 100 USD mark. NEO, Ethereum, very solid projects. A ton of ICOs coming out on NEO. And Ethereum, of course, everyone and their uncle wants to launch a project on the Ethereum network. So watch this space. Accumulate, 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 guys. The price is going to drop. Wait for the dip. But I'm not a financial advisor, but I don't think you can go wrong with these because there's so much functionality being worked into these platforms. It's just going to be huge. I think it's going to be absolutely massive. And then, in terms of other things that have moved over the last few days, Verge. Unfortunately, the movement has not been positive. After incredible growth over the last few days, Verge has had a sizable dip. But then again, some people say that Verge is over. It's gone. The rate protocol was an absolute disappointment. It's not privacy-centric in any way, and groups that need to hide from government surveillance will not resort to it in any form. That's what the public perception is. But from a purely technical standpoint, Verge looks like it's on the verge of a breakout. Haven't really gone into Verge since I sold it at about 100 Satoshi, so I've lost out on 10x gains and more than that. But I'm going to stay away from it just for now. The technicals are showing something could be up here, but I don't believe in going by technicals alone. So be a little wary. Verge can move either way. The Wraith protocol is almost complete, or so they claim. I do hope that they sort it out because what we just need is more competition and good projects in this space working through the tiny usability things. Unfortunately, anonymity is not a tiny usability thing. It's a fairly important factor in all this. So let's hope Verge can actually fix this quickly. My next project. Cardano, people, Cardano. It was flying at the turn of the year, absolutely flying, and now it seems to be coming back down to the very same point it was at before this massive pump. My big fear is that people will consider Cardano as a pump and dump coin. I love the project. I do think that they actually care a lot about doing things right, and this sort of price movement will make people a little wary about it, and I don't think that's positive in any way. There was a bit of a leak about the Cardano roadmap that happened during this massive pump. Whether or not it had anything to do with it, I do not know. But what we do have on the website is an updated roadmap with dates. Not dates, they're estimating to the nearest quarter, but that's better than what we had before. So the decentralization process of the ADA network is actually happening right now. There's a lot of criticism of Cardano that they have just launched their tokens before the functionality of the network is actually there. For those who use the Daedalus wallet, you know that by default you have anonymous transactions. Things are just going to go from strength to strength from here because we have some great usability things coming into Cardano. A major factor for usability is a light client. What is a light client? Well, it's a wallet where you do not need to download the entire blockchain. Currently, the Daedalus wallet is a full client. A light client will let you have, let's say, a mobile application where you don't need to download gigabytes of blockchain information. So they are working on making their project a lot more adoptable. Human-friendly addresses as well come into that. But my favorite one, and I think the one that will garner the most attention, is where is it? Ledger wallet support, and the big one is debit cards. If you have a Cardano debit card where you can spend your Cardano on one side and pay a merchant in whichever currency they need to receive their money in on the other side, we have finally created a usability scenario where Cardano can replace Bitcoin as a method of payment. And not just Bitcoin. Cardano will be positioning themselves as a competitor to 10x. And 10x, as you might have recently heard, have had a few problems with the usability of their cards. Cardano are going through the whole peer-reviewed academic route, so let's hope they don't go through the same problems. I'm not an investment advisor. I won't tell you to buy or to sell, but I do think this is a nice place to be at. I don't want to add to my position just yet because I do want to diversify my holdings as much as possible. I do have a nice chunk of ADA. Once they announce the amount of ADA you will need to have your own masternode, it might be too late. So I might reconsider consolidating my position. I'm just thinking out loud here. There are a lot of decisions we need to make, especially looking at the long-term potential of cryptocurrencies within the context of this minor dip that we're facing right now. And next up, there's something I have to talk about. Everyone's talking about it. The hype train for this currency is totally huge. Raiblocks. Out of nowhere, it is now rank 17. People are talking about this coin dethroning Bitcoin, and they do have some tech things totally going in their favor. It's completely undeniable. Because the throughput on this platform is absolutely huge. DataDash did an incredible video on this where he actually did a demo of using their wallet system. It's instantaneous, it's feeless, it's highly scalable, and the throughput on this network is gigantic. Is this the payment cryptocurrency that everyone was hoping for? Let's see. When it's gone up this far, it's not normally the best time to buy, but now we have it on our watch list. If you got in early, congratulations, pat yourself on the back. You've made an absolute killing in the last couple of weeks. If you're considering an entry point into Raiblocks, hold back a bit. That's what I can say right now. I would like to get involved in this too, but I'm not comfortable using the means that I have available right now in order to plan my entry point. So I'd rather be safe than sorry on this one. So I'm going to stay away for a little bit until they get listed on more exchanges. In other Raiblock news, they're also going to be rebranding and changing their name. The sleuths on Reddit have found this again. Here's their working, so you can see exactly how they reached this conclusion. But in the near future, Raiblocks will be known as Nano. Or so they have deduced. Over 1,000 upvotes, maybe they're onto something. Do check it out and do let me know what you think. Next, Ripple. People are so bullish on Ripple, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm not completely sold on the philosophy behind it. If you're in this for the money, great. It's your choice. You do you, folks. Trading is a personal journey. Prioritize what you want from this market. If you're looking for gains, great. Ripple is looking good. I suppose I can't argue against that. The results have shown that Ripple has been great for the earnings. I am not with it philosophically, so I'm keeping my money away from it. Admittedly, I have lost a bunch of Ripple in a transfer, and seeing these prices just make this hurt that much more. But it's a lesson that I know I will never forget. The lesson is, do not send Ripple between exchanges without a tag, people. It was an absolute noob mistake. It was a mistake I never should have made, but it's a mistake nonetheless. I have learned from my mistake. That makes me an alright man. You can be a totally wise person by learning from my mistakes and not doing that. If you'd like to know more about my mistake in detail, I will be glad to tell you about it. Next up, we have status. I bought it at about the 1950 sat range. It flew up to over 4,000, but I'm considering this a hodl coin. I'm not going to panic with this price drop right now. I do think they're going to do some really nice forward-facing things. They want instant messaging, and they want people to be able to pay peer-to-peer using their app, using crypto. What we want is more usability and adoption. Status is working towards that, so I'm going to hodl this one. And the last coin I'm going to talk about today is Power Ledger. I'm really bullish on this one in the long term. It's forming a bit of a head and shoulders pattern right now, so its immediate future could be slightly bearish. In every crisis, there's an opportunity, and if you're in this for the long term, consolidate your position. I'm going to be doing that. I already snapped up a fair amount when it was at that earlier dip, and will I get some more? Let's see, because I want to see how low this can actually go. If it goes down to below the 7,000 mark again, I would love to get some more then. Currently, I think it's a little bit high, but this head and shoulders pattern, as I speak, this head and shoulders pattern seems to be getting more pronounced. So I'm predicting it's slightly bearish times for Power Ledger, but I think their long-term future is great. I'm a huge believer in renewable and solar energy. If Power Ledger helps normal people monetize the energy that they create, this is perfect. And I do think it'll really encourage people to decentralize our power generation. So on a philosophical note, I'm totally for this. Any negative price movement makes me happy as well, because I can pick it up. Positive price movement, nothing like it at all. This has been quite a hectic video. I'm sorry I could just only glance at a few projects and then go on to the next ones, because I just wanted to get as much information in this video as possible. If you'd like me to look at anything in more detail, I'll be glad to do that. Lots of people have been asking me about my picks for the next year. As a result, I shall make a video all about my favorite coins for 2018. I'll have a few large caps, a few network tokens, and a few small caps. So as I mentioned earlier, I will probably be employing a slight change of tack in how I will be looking at coins. Yes, I will continue looking at the ones making these massive gains so that you are more aware about what these projects are about. But I'm also going to be focusing on sub 300 million USD market cap coins. Why am I doing this? Because these ones might be growing a huge amount. So the idea is tiny investments in a bunch of different smaller cap coins. If 2 out of 20 work, great. Hopefully those gains will offset all the other investments. But this market is growing so fast in so many different directions, there is no possible way we can know about all the opportunities. So I'm going to keep hedging my bets, but now I'll be looking at slightly riskier coins now that I have my hodl coins in place. I do have about 7 or 8 projects that I plan on holding for a very, very long time. But the recent profits that I've been booking, I want to put them into other projects because I know that these are profits and I do not mind losing what I've earned because I do have my principal amount safe. So that's it for the first video of 2018. I do hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a like, do subscribe, do comment and tell me what you think about all this. So that's it for the first episode of 2018. Sorry it's been so long since the last one, but now I'm back. Let's soldier on, people. Don't forget to like, do not forget to subscribe, and click that bell button to be notified on every upload. This is Marv from Crypto Simplified signing out. You take care. Have an awesome rest of the day. We will catch up soon. Later.
Backpack raps with gats in it. Don't get your cap filled by the black minutes. K.Darrowbag, move like a militant soldier. On point like a pyramid. Forced to be reckoned with. With the best shit. Like the strongest manure. I'm ready when you are. This is it. I'm in the lab cooking up all day. F 'em up all day. Like a nympho. I've been dope since S-Curl Wave.